Thank you, Chair and Ranking Member and the committee for this opportunity to speak before you on this important issue. I am a Quinault Indian and I was born a Treaty Indian. I'm one of the elders that she speaks about that can speak from the time that I can remember in the late 50s and early 60s where sea lions were very rare to observe. The Northwest Indian Fish Commission is comprised of the 20 treaty tribes organized shortly after the decision known as United States versus Washington from 5 treaty areas we signed in 1854 and 1855. It's with that background that I speak to you that our ancestors lived this life, and it was brought to me when I was born and I lived on this coast. And listening to your opening remarks are very powerful. Listening to what we hear from Noah gives me hope that I'm here to speak for the 20 member tribes at policy as directed, and we've looked at this issue for a long time. And in our written testimony, you'll see some of that story where the Muckleshoots dealt with the sea lion called Herschel at the locks and going into Lake Washington. And that sea lion was numbered and then taken somewhere, and it almost beats them home, right? No more steelhead whatsoever in the Lake Washington into the tributaries where the Muckleshoots and other tribes fish. This problem needs to be an engagement-based approach, needs the legislative fix, an administrative fix to engage in a process of this meeting and other meetings that our member tribes and our leadership are definitely on board with, where we can meet, when we can meet, and we get results of the testimonies that you're hearing. So we've developed this policy given these limitations that we have been faced with. When you hear the dynamics of 250, 275,000, 300,000 California sea lions, they're not only eating the adults, they're eating the outmigrants. In a world where there's no more spring runoff and the glaciers are no longer there, that milkies the water that helps those smolts go out to the sea because our glaciers are going and they're gone. Snow is not reliable. Those kinds of things that we had as protections in the past are no longer available. Our adults are dying pre-spawn because the rivers are too low. They're out of oxygen, and we're facing those kinds of challenges. So it's a vast approach that we need to think about as we tackle this issue, because as the sea lion population grows, those fish that they rely on, no matter where they're from or where they're going, they used to be that Southern Oregon, Northern California, Central Valley large populations that kept them. Now that they've grown so large, the young bulls are ostracized and they have to go out and they have to make a living. They're making a living in Grace Harbor, where the haul-outs and the docks are full of these sea lions. Or they're at the mouth of the Nisqually, where there's 200 or 300 rafted up, waiting for those stocks. We're about working through this system with all of these folks that are coming to call out all these reasons why we're being put out of business. They eat 60 pounds a day times 250,000. You get to what? a million and a quarter pounds a day of fish stocks that are diminishing. At some point, the natural order will take over. They're out of business. We're out of business. We encourage and are encouraged by the words we heard. We're ready to do the job, to meet wherever and whenever we can. We think that two-pronged approach and ecosystem base is a positive way to go. You know, I've had to kind of change up the script. You have a written testimony that we've advanced. We're here. We're engaged. We look forward to the opportunity of working this. So my grandchildren and my grandchildren's children knows the life ways of our people as Indian people. As they go, we go. The salmon. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Johnstone. The chair now recognizes Mr. Phillips for 5 minutes.